Hey everybody, this is Chris from ChrisCuisine. Welcome to our second season. Today we're going to make a wonderful meal of portobello mushroom soup. We're also going to have pureed yams and sweet potatoes, along with venison, roasted venison, and some wonderful mushrooms. Okay, for the mushroom soup, we've got to put together a chicken stock. So basically what we use is some store-bought chicken stock. It's really good. To make a quart, you need to use about 2 tablespoons of stock, it's a tablespoon and a half of stock. We're going to be making a quart and a half. Okay, we're just going to bring the stock to a boil, whisk it up, mix it around, and then we'll use it later in the soup. Okay, we're going to be making a black currant mustard juice that's going to go on top of the venison. And what we're going to do is make a cup and a half of beef stock as well that we'll use to make the juice. So what we're doing is taking a teaspoon and a half. Whisk the stock briskly, and it'll form this color, and it looks like it'll be ready to go. We're going to add some Sherry Wine Vinegar to the Black Currant Mustard juice later on. Alright, for the juice, we're also going to add a tablespoon and a half of Black Currant Mustard. We're going to add 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Add the onions. Caramelize them nice and slow, like I said, medium low. Just need to stir it every minute or so just to make sure it doesn't burn or mix evenly. I just put the beef stock in the microwave to heat it up. 2 tablespoons of fine Sherry Wine Vinegar. What we're going to do is take this, and after we deglaze it, reduce the vinegar down until it's pretty much all absorbed. Okay, the liquid's been absorbed, so what we're going to do now is add the beef stock, give it a little stir, bring it to a simmer, and let it simmer for about 20 minutes. Alright, we're going to do a bunch of different things here. We have some shallots, we have some garlic, over here we have some leeks, and we're going to just get them all ready for the soup, and eventually it'll go in the pot and cook it up. We also have some applewood bacon, which we're going to chop up, and that'll go into the soup as well. We're rinsing the mushrooms and getting them clean. Okay, now we're going to take the bacon and just cut it into little 1/2-inch chunks. Okay, we're cutting the mushrooms into 1/2-inch chunks. Okay, so we're going to use a head and a half of garlic. So you just got to basically break it all up and smash, and it helps you peel it a little bit. It's simmered for 20 minutes and it's been reduced. Now we're going to strain it. Get a fine sieve, press out all the good juices. Now we're going to add the red currant mustard. We're just going to reserve it for later after the venison's been cooked. Okay, the oven's preheated to 350. We have some 2 yams here. We're going to cook them for about an hour. Alright. You need to make a 1/2 teaspoon of fresh ground nutmeg for the yams. Use a tablespoon of honey for the yam puree, the sweet potato puree. Of course, we always use organic honey in our house. Okay, we got a tablespoon and a half of butter. This will be for the mushroom soup. Okay, the leeks, what we're going to do now is just cut them up. Okay, there's some sand in between the skins of the leeks, so you got to rinse them really good. Okay, peeling the shallots, and then when we're done that, we're going to mince them. Okay, I'm going to open up the wine, because we need a 1/2 bottle of it for the soup. So we're slicing up the shallots. I'll probably start crying here, so. We're going to start making the soup. We're going to add the bacon, the leeks, a head and a half of garlic, 5 shallots. Let this sweat for about 20 minutes. Stir it every few minutes just to make sure that it gets mixed well and cooks evenly. The bacon, the garlic, the shallots, and the leeks have all sweated. Now we're going to add the portobello mushrooms. There's 5 of them here, chopped in a 1/2 inch. And these are going to sweat too. Sweet potatoes have been in the oven for an hour. It's time to remove them. Now we got to put a 1/2 bottle of Pinot Noir in here, and we're going to let it reduce by 3/4. Okay, we've reduced the wine by a quarter. Now we're going to add chicken stock. We're going to have most of this, just enough pretty much to cover the mushrooms. Now we're going to let this come to a boil. The soup's come to a boil now. We're going to turn it down. We're going to let it simmer for about 45 minutes. Take these, cut them in half. They're nice and moist now. Make sure to mash the sweet potato a little bit to make sure it's soft enough to puree. So we're going to add a tablespoon of organic honey, fresh ground nutmeg, a stick of butter, and then we're going to puree it all. So we got the turbo going. There's a little bit of salt, 1/2 teaspoon or so, little grounds of fresh pepper. Take the puree, just put it in a pan, keep it warm on the stove until we're ready to serve. Okay, we're going to start to prepare for the soup to finish it up. We're going to create the garnish. We're just going to take some chives and cut them up. Italian prosciutto. And we're just going to chop it up. Some goat cheese. We're just going to take it and crumble it up. And this will be part of the garnish as well. Okay, what we're going to do now is going to take 2 cups of cream. We're going to put it in here. And bring it to a boil. Okay, it's come to a boil. Turn off the heat off. Add some butter. We're going to puree it. And now we're going to strain it. Portobello mushroom soup. Next up, venison and mushrooms. Now we're going to make the mushrooms and we're going to prepare the venison. Okay, what we're going to do is put some salt and pepper on the venison. Just kind of sprinkle it on. Turn on the other side and repeat. Put the oven on to 400. We have these shiitake mushrooms. I'm going to cut off the stems, kind of like this. And we'll just slice them up, nice big chunks. All right, we heated the oil up real high. We're going to just brown the venison and then put it in the oven. And as the brown, we're going to insert a thermometer in here. So it's cooked medium rare. Medium rare to me is about 130, 135. Now it goes into an oven at 400 degrees first. We're going to add these herbs. Turn this down to the temperature that we want to cook it at. Let's say 135. Turn it off when it's ready. Alright, we'll put the pan on high heat. Add 4 tablespoons of olive oil. About 3/4 pound of shiitake mushrooms, stemmed, cleaned, cut. I'm going to add them in here now. We're just going to cook them down till they caramelize. Alright, here we go. Temperature's 135, internal temperature of the venison. We're going to shut this down. Pull it out, let it rest for 10 minutes. You always let your meat rest for 10 minutes. Pan it up with some foil, let it rest. Okay, the mushrooms have caramelized. Now we're going to add the garlic, salt, pepper. This is how we plate the dish. Sweet potato puree we made earlier today. A little half moon on the dish. Some mushrooms. Set them on the side there, just like that. The venison. And on top, raspberry currant juice. We'll clean it up a little bit. Voila, ChrisCuisine, à la cuisine. The recipe today comes from the Bernadette's Lodge, and that's in Carmel, California. Thank you very much. It's very good.